Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anime Lounge Surflights. I'm your host Lance here to talk about Undead Unluck episode 15. And if you follow me up until this point, you know that I read the manga so I can share any information that might be different along the way. So let's start off by saying this episode was a little bit of a slowdown. We need some character development here. Chikara, new guy, we need to learn about him and we need to see if he's going to be part of this union. So that was interesting. So before we get into that, let me just share that this is manga-wise, this is the end of chapter 29 and all of chapter 30, and taken every little moment out of the manga right into it. Not a single thing was overlooked. Even every single word was used so perfectly. I'm continuously amazed by how on par everything is with the manga. Yeah, not a single change. The chapters were super short compared to last week, which is like 2.5 chapters. This was a chapter and a half. So like I said, it's a slowdown, it's a character build, and that's all right. Stick around until the end of the episode, and I'll give you guys a little spoiler because I read ahead. So information is going to be pretty interesting right there. I can't wait to share that with you. So this episode opens up with Unrepair making a visit. He's approaching Andy and Fuko. So he shows up as a kid, explains that he died, and that he's just going to be back to normal pretty soon. So we don't know when that time frame is going to be. But his reason for coming was to give us that artifact, that gun. And the artifact itself, like as a weapon, I don't think really matters right now. What mattered was the vision that it gave everybody. And that was the world starting on fire and a big dark figure appearing, who is probably the cause of that fire, who we assume is God. And that's really important because that's who we were trying to kill in the end. And we get to learn Unrepair's little fun mission until that moment happens. And that is to rule the world and just have fun until that final day comes. So he just kind of wants to party and be a ruler for a short while. That's going to be interesting. But that's really all we got out of Unrepair. I'd like to see him slowly start to grow in the next couple episodes. Like every episode, we get to see like him growing a couple of years, and then he's finally back to an adult after like 10 episodes or something. That'd be pretty interesting. Doesn't really matter. It's just something I thought of. But the rest of this episode is really about Chikara, and we get to learn about him. And the biggest takeaway was learning about his parents, about him and his childhood, how he got the ability, and his sad story about how Truck-kun killed his parents because he stopped him in mid-street. I'm glad they didn't really go into detail, but they showed it, frame by frame. When I was reading the manga first, I was really confused on how they died. If Truck-kun came into Chikara's vision, line of sight, wouldn't the car automatically stop too? And technically it did. So right before his parents got hit, the car did stop. But Chikara freaked out and started running towards them. And in that freak out, he blinked. Things happened. The parents moved. The car was able to crush him. And that's how that really happened. So there was no anime logic right there. It actually made sense. So I'm glad that they kind of rolled with that. So yeah, sad enough. No parents, but he has a new strive to live. He says he wants to live and he wants to atone for his family. And by joining the union, he can do both those things: save the world, be a hero. So this is gonna be interesting. His little promise he made with his friend at the end, that was really just for show. Unless he's got like a physical attraction with him and wants to make a relation out of that. I don't know. It's whatever. Nitpicking. So that's the end of the episode. Truly ends around the round table. We're getting ready for the next set of missions. And this is where I can spoil a little bit for you guys. The next episode is going to have 4 missions. We're going to have, here, I wrote it down. We're going to have the neutralization of Uma Spring, Uma Summer, and Uma Winter, and the capture of Uma Autumn. And the catch is not really a catch, but every human on planet Earth is allowed to join in on this mission too. So lots of awesome rewards that are going to come out of this, and one very bad penalty is going to come out of this. And I cannot wait. This is so exciting. I assume the rest, like the first 75% of the next episode, is going to be all about this stuff because they talk about it. They're negotiating. They're figuring stuff out. Cannot wait for next episode. We're finally going to be taking the next step into killing God or something, Yeah, so small episode today, building up for a bigger episode next week. And then we got some mission starts from there on forth, and I cannot wait. What do you guys think of this episode? So that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.